Writer of representing disability in an ableist world, and she also has a blog called Media Dis and Dat, and is a professor on the topic of media and disability. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hope everyone enjoyed the movie. Just a few comments, and I wanted to hear from you guys about what you thought or questions you might have. A little background. The woman who played Annika was the co-script writer with her brother, who was the director. So Anna and Dieter Brueggemann created this film. So after seeing it a couple of times, it actually has a different resonance when you kind of know that the woman playing the main character is also the writer of the film, and then her brother is the director. One thing that I wanted to talk about was kind of the twist I thought at the end, because I think at the beginning it kind of starts out as one of those kind of traditional, you know, embittered disabled person trying to figure out what they're doing with their life. And I really think at the end it really showed he was kind of, it was all about his guilt more than his disability. That really, I think the guilt over the death of his girlfriend in the car accident was really what was destroying his life more than any kind of disability that he had. And the same with the Annika character. Her fear of performing was what was really holding her back, and just the fact that he was kind of a jerk to her, I think, kind of brought her out of that. So that was a kind of an interesting twist and mystery at the end that kind of brought it to a different place than I thought it was going to start out to be. So questions, comments, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty amazing. There was a sense of menace all the way through it, and there's a lot of falling down and a lot of wondering how badly people are going to get hurt, and that really resonated for me. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how many, I didn't notice it until the second or third time I saw it, how many people fell downstairs and could have gotten disabilities from what was happening in the film to other characters.
One of the things I also noticed in the film that they actually put an emphasis on is the difficulty in these actions of getting back up. There's constantly this grunting while the lifting, and they really put an emphasis. I mean, they could have easily cut to him in the chair, but they actually take the time of when they fall, also showing the getting back up as well.
Was the actor playing main character disabled?
No, he was not.
He's a well-known actor. We also see him at the dream sequence, actually walking. They give it away. Yeah.
Hi. I thought it really was a really wonderful film, and I am satisfied with the idea that he now understands that life, you know, the gentleman in the wheelchair now understands that life can have fun, and so that arc was completed. But what about his nurse? You know, what about Christian? Why was the relationship between Christian and the girl left sort of in the middle? It's not really clear.
I thought it seemed like that Christian wasn't for her, that she found Ben more interesting, and he was just assuming, Ben was assuming, I think, that she would automatically go for Christian, and when she was making her decision between the two of them, I think she really felt like Ben was a more interesting person, and then he was trying to push her away. I think also to keep her out of danger. I think he had this real fear of people coming into his life that would get hurt because of what happened in his accident where his girlfriend got killed. So I think he was doing everything. I don't even think he believed a lot of what he was saying to push people away. I think he was saying it to just push them away and to get them out of his life, because he was actually afraid for their safety and their ability to live with him, and what the consequences of that he felt might be so negative.
You know, not to refute what you're saying, but can everyone hear me? Okay. You know, when they're in bed together and they are about to make love, he's perfectly happy to go ahead with the pill. It's she that says, I really can't do this. So I'm not so certain that
My theory on that scene, though, is that the passion, his lack of passion in those moments.
I mean, just kind of like, he said that before, where he felt like he was just going to be playing an object to whatever woman he was with. So maybe he just felt like, well, okay, I'll be your object. And I think she got that vibe and said she didn't want to participate in that form of lovemaking. So, I mean, I really think he was doing everything possible to try to push her out of his life because he was afraid for her to be in his life.
I want to just go back to something you said earlier about the depiction of the classic depiction of the bitter. I'm misquoting you here. Person with a disability. One of the things that I think makes this film interesting is really that this is I found it to be a unique depiction of a person with a disability, and really not some of the sugar-coated versions that we often get in cinema, especially American cinema, and really just something kind of that a character that was fully developed in a very new sense.
Yeah, I think the way he used humor and was trying not to come off as bitter as he actually was at the beginning of the film. I think he was using humor to, try to make people comfortable and to sort of keep them at a distance from him. I just think of, movies like Born on the 4th of July and those kinds of things where they, have the first third of the movie is like people getting over things and trying to, get over a bitterness about what's happened to them. And I just didn't want it to go that direction. I don't think it did, but at the beginning, it was kind of like a character with that kind of edge to him.
Definitely edge, and that's one of the things also great about this film. Just like from beginning to end, it just has such an edge and can take you into different places, from dreams to animation to that last shot of the film.
I think it was the filmmaker's first full-length film. At least when I looked up on IMDb, he did a lot of TV and short films. So this may have been one of his first full-length. I thought he did a darn good job.
I think this film is going to be with me for a long time, and because one thing is there were a whole bunch of things in it that I felt were really contrived. I mean, that she does the solo at that moment, and and there was a lot of that, but I think there was more of really interesting stuff about relationships. I mean, there was the mothers, I won't enumerate them, but I have a feeling there will be a lot to think about there in terms of, the film was about relationships, really.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, where they brought out, her own relationship with her mother, they showed his relationship with his a bit, and, added that extra dimension, you're right, about other relationships that people have that affect them. I mean, like, obviously, she was affected by the fact that her mother walked out at her age of 12 and never saw her again. So I think they're also trying to make a statement about the relationships that affect you, whether you have a disability or not, as well.
And I think the psychological elements that you bring in here really show that this is a film that goes way beyond the disability, and the disability is actually, in a way, a distraction from the actual psychology that's going on. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank you, Beth.
Sure.
Do you have any books with you?
I have a couple if anybody's interested. I have postcards if people are interested in finding
And you can get it online. It's representing disability in an ableist world.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for joining us. Tomorrow we'll film the film starting with Aphasia, then the Iranian film Morning, Swoop.
You'll see the straight line.